Good afternoon. We're on D354, Cynthia Balle versus Peter Mario Balle. Counsel, your appearance for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Preston Rizé for Mr. Peter Mario Balle, who's present.
Okay, Ms. Balle, you're present. Can you state your name for the record, please? Ms. Balle, your appearance, please. State your name, please. I show her present, counsel. At least it says it's her.
Likewise, Judge, and it shows that her microphone is actually working, so I don't understand why we're...
Ms. Balle, this is Judge Forsberg. Can you hear me? Ms. Balle, your appearance, please.
Your Honor, maybe she got kicked off. I'll try to call her.
Okay, Mr. Rizé, you know the system kicks you off every so many minutes, so maybe she got kicked off, and it's just but it's still showing her there. Oh, we got a message from her. It looks like. Hold on the chat. It says she's on, but she's okay. Miss Balle, can you state your name for the record, or we're not able to hear you? I see that you're messaging.
Can she log off and log back in, Your Honor?
Okay, Miss Balle, log back off and log back on, okay? Because sometimes for some reason we're not hearing you. Give her a minute to log off and log back on. It's apparently she's having trouble. So.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, thank you. Perfect. State your name for the record, please.
Cynthia Balle.
Okay, Miss Balle, this is on today for Dad's emergency motion to suspend your contact with the minor children for supervised visitation, and they've also requested a drug test today. Mr. Rizé, it's your client's motion. Mom has not filed an opposition. Ms. Balle, you've had a lot of sufficient time, more than the 14 days to file the opposition, but you haven't done so, ma'am. Why not?
I did file my change of address or whatever they needed for that, but I just simply do not have those resources to get down there and to do that. I hired an attorney, as I stated. I really did hire an attorney. I now have to take her to court because she took literally every dollar I have and didn't show up before. And I got his notification that they had filed this the day that I went down there in order to change my address as you instructed me to do. They were closing, so they would not let me stay and file anything down there at all.
So you found out about the motion on the 31st when you went to go file your change of address. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, I did. And I've been to the law library since then trying to figure out exactly how to respond to this.
Okay. Well, this is the situation. It's their motion. I'm going to hear from Mr. Rizé first, okay? I just wanted to know why you hadn't filed it. You've enlightened where you are and that you did know that it was in existence, and you filed your change of address the day after the motion was filed, so you've had a sufficient amount of time to figure it out, ma'am. But I'm going to hear from Mr. Rizé first. Mr. Rizé, it is your client's motion. You're asking for, it looks like she hasn't had visitation or exercise visitation since October, at least when you filed this motion. And I don't know what's happened since then. And it appears that she hasn't done the individual therapy. Well, she had her issues in the request for a drug test. Is that right, Mr. Rizé? Is there anything in this?
That's correct, Judge. That's the relief side. As far as her failure to file a responsive pleading, Judge, I would submit to you she's been an improper person for quite some time and has done well to bring motions before this court, but I don't see why she would have any difficulty in filing an opposition to a motion. These issues have been brought before the court and addressed ad nauseum, but essentially that's correct, Judge. It's on our motion for an emergency motion to suspend plaintiff's contact with a minor child for supervised visitation, if any, and for drug testing at the court's discretion. Our motion seeks this relief based on a number of reasons. Number one, she's failed to seek the individual therapy as ordered by this court. Number two, She had refused to provide a address to my client for an extended period of time, since October of 2020. And coincidentally, Judge, the day after we filed this motion, she provides an address. Number three, we have information that leads to the distinct impression that she's engaged in the use of illegal drugs, including meth. So I'll address each one of those in that order, Judge.
Okay.
Addressing the first issue, again, as the court is aware, she's been ordered to attend individual psychological therapy on a number of occasions. The first time was March 15th, 2017, on defendant's motion to modify, where she was, based on specific findings by Dr. Ponzo, she was ordered to attend therapy. She refused to do so. This matter was again before the court on October 10th, 2019, and she was again ordered to attend individual therapy, and she refused to do so. Not only did she refuse to do so, Judge, she unilaterally took the minor child in violation of the joint's legal provisions of the multiple orders that have been in place, and she enrolled the child in individual therapy, insisting that that's what the court's order was. I sent her multiple correspondences asking that she comply with the court's order. She's either non-responsive, or when she does, there is ramblings about other issues that are not relevant, and she essentially is refusing to acknowledge this court's order. Those correspondences are attached to the This matter was again before the court on May 14th, 2020, on our motion, on defendant's motion for order to show cause, and she was again ordered by the courts to attend therapy. We have again multiple correspondences. And we even provided her with the names of 3 therapists as requested by this court, and she continued to refuse therapy. Addressing the second issue, Judge, on October 9th, 2020, my client went to pick up the minor child after plaintiff's scheduled visitation for that weekend, and when he arrived at the plaintiff's residence, that's when he discovered that she no longer resides there. And we made multiple attempts for her to provide us with an answer, Judge, and she simply refused to do it. There are correspondences on Talking Parents, there are correspondences from my office, and she just simply refused to provide us with an address. And from what we understand, she's moved several times, but for at least some time now, we don't know how long exactly, she has resided consistently with her boyfriend. The last time we were before the court on March 18th, 2021, she was ordered to provide a place of residence within 7 days. She failed to do it. Coincidentally, Judge, again, just 1 day after we filed our motion, she files a notice of change of address, which we took a look at it, Judge. It's either intentionally illegible or maybe not, but regardless, what we can make of it, it is not even a valid address. So we still have reason to believe, based on the impression that the adult children have drawn from conversations they've had with her boyfriend's son, is that she still resides with her boyfriend, which is what brings us to the most troubling issue that's been brought to the court's attention, is that again, the children have had discussions, the adult children have had discussions with the boyfriend's son, which leads them to the distinct impression that they are using illegal drugs together, including meth. And this should be of no surprise, Judge. The children provided affidavits in this case before the court today. They previously provided affidavits that mom has used prescription drugs. They've even witnessed her do cocaine in front of them. So if you look at the totality of circumstances, Judge, her utter complete lack of disregard for this court's order for individual therapy, her unstable residence, her refusal to provide us with information, and the fact that she's actually, the last time she made any attempt to see the minor child, Judge, was October 26, 2020. If you look if you look at the totality of circumstances, certainly the conclusion or the distinct impression drawn by the adult children and my client is certainly substantiated. And based on that, we would ask that her custodial time be immediately suspended. If the court's inclined to order any visitation, I would ask it would be supervised, but I would submit to you, we would ask that she at least start attending therapy and go to drug tests before there's even supervised visitation. And I'll submit on that, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Balle, you did not file an opposition So the court has to take it as the fact that their motion has merit, and I'm going to grant their request, but I'm going to hear from you anyways because you've had sufficient amount of time and you have filed things in proper person many times before. You understand how the self-help system works and how the forms and oppositions work, Ms. Balle, because I see that you filed things, including this change of address. First, let's start with that. I actually had to enlarge this change of address greatly, and I want to make sure and clarify your address on the record, ma'am, because it looks, I agree with Mr. Rizze, it appears to be intentionally vague. It looks like it's a 6, but it's put with the 8. I'm not sure if it's an 8. Maybe it's a 3. What is your address, ma'am?
6874 Churchfield should be on there.
Okay, it's just hard. It looks like it's just the way that you wrote it made it really hard to read. So the court's clarifying that it's 6874. So that takes care of that portion, ma'am. The issue about why have you not started your therapy, ma'am? This has been ordered several times, including I've ordered you to do that as well.
Okay, Your Honor, I have a therapist. I have a case manager. I have everything you have requested.
Okay,
Mr. Rizze.
Provided it with Mr. Rizze, certainly we wouldn't have this motion here today.
Okay, Your Honor, I would like to address his allegations.
Okay.
They are completely false, based on hearsay, and as a matter of fact, it is Mr. Balle who broke the order for therapy by not allowing the children to attend therapy. The original order from Judge Potter, I asked for therapy for the kids. The father, Pete, he came into court, told Judge Potter he couldn't make an appointment. That went on, so we had continuance, it was something like 90 days later.
I went over the order of Judge Potter because I figured this would be part of it.
Yeah.
It did go through the
So
order.
I did take them.
He has a lot of issues about it, and he said specifically that you had to do individual therapy. Then I ordered again.
Right. I'm not arguing that.
I'm not going back to this stuff other than why don't I have an opposition or proof of the therapy?
Okay. So I will get back to that. Okay. As a matter of fact, last time we were in front of you, I have had a therapist. I have been to Safe Nest when we were married, after we got divorced. I told you that I did attend therapy with Father at the church. You said that wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. After that, I went, and wherever my insurance would take, I went to HBI, Human Behavior Institute. I asked for a therapist. They make you have a case manager. They did a psychological evaluation on me there. I still have a therapist there.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I also...
Did you present that? Did you file that with Mr. Rizze, or did you present it to Mr. Rizze, or did you file it with the court, ma'am? I don't have an opposition, so I don't have it filed, right?
Okay, Your Honor, first of all, anything you file in court is a public record. Since it is medical, I asked the therapist and the case manager. They said Mr. Rizze has no authority to have that, but you do, and you can get it any time.
Ma'am, you seem to miss the point. You could submit it to the court, and it could be viewed in what's called in camera. That would be
okay, that is what I just found out very recently. I have requested not only my records, but I'm going to address this as well. The children were ordered to attend therapy by Judge Potter.
I want you to stick on one topic first. I'm not going to let you go here, there, and everywhere. I want you to focus on this. Okay. Again, are you going to, what is your plan with filing all your records as to your therapy? See, if you filed that, Mr. Rizze would not be filing a motion with my court. But you haven't presented that to him, and he is entitled to it because the court is making that part of the order. But he is to know that's part of the order, ma'am. You were to provide proof.
I did tell him I have a therapist. So he is misleading you.
Proof.
I emailed him, I do have a therapist. I emailed him that, and I also emailed what my therapist verbatim told me to put in that email. That, yes, I do have a therapist, but what goes on in my therapy, he is not entitled to know, but the judge is, and there are procedures for that, and that can be submitted to the court. So he is misleading you. Well, I'm going to outright say this is not the first time.
Listen to this, ma'am. Listen to me on this. You were ordered to provide proof of your records of your therapy with the court in camera, and I will review it. And Mr. Rizze,
okay.
copy, but it will be confidential, counsel. You're not to release it to Mr. Balle. You're not to release it to anybody. The court, you are allowed to review it based upon the court's order today. That's what's going to happen regarding that issue. Ma'am, regarding the other issue, you haven't seen your children since October 26th. Is that correct? Okay,
let me address that. I had my son over that weekend for his birthday, so he was with me. Then he goes back. He's supposed to come back for Thanksgiving. There was an incident with him, and the way he was acting, his outbursts. I called my case.
I'm just making sure. Are we talking about with your son, ma'am?
Yes, with Christian. On my scheduled visitation.
Not the son, right? I just wasn't clear. So.
Yes, Christian. And so I called my case manager. I said, I'm really worried. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he may be using drugs. I think he's depressed. He has said some things, and these outbursts are out of line. I was on the phone with somebody when this was going on. They're a witness to it. So they told me to make an appointment for him. And if he looks like he's going to hurt himself, to call emergency, and they'll come and get him. So I made an appointment for him for therapy to talk about what's going on.
Did you talk to Dad about it? You guys have temporary joint at the time you had temporary joint legal custody before. So did you bother to talk to Dad about this, Mom?
No, we didn't have that because he's been taking him to Ponzo. I actually called Dr. Ponzo and talked to him as well. He told me he's not doing family therapy, which is what the court order is, and he doesn't do that. He only sees Christian sometimes when there is a problem, and Pete brings him in.
So it's an as-needed kind of basis. Is that
right? But that's not what the order from Potter said. They are to continue in family therapy.
Okay, people don't have to continue therapy forever, ma'am. It's you got to follow the therapist guidelines, right?
But we didn't ever go. Okay. We never went.
All right, but that is the point. Is you didn't. I need proof that you went. Number one. Number two.
Okay, I will give that to you, Your Honor.
Back to the point. Go back to the point, Miss Balle.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so it was a telehealth. Telehealth.
Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me tell you where I'm at on where you're at in your story, okay? What I'm wanting to know is, so you had trouble with Christian, you believed he was on drugs, and you haven't seen him since then. Is that correct?
No, I had him that whole weekend.
Since that weekend, ma'am, have you seen him?
Okay.
Is that a no?
I have seen him, but I haven't had my visitation with him.
Okay. When you say seen him, define seen him.
He was at a friend of his house. I'm friends with the mom. I've seen him.
Okay.
I've been out in front of Pete's house trying to pick him up for my visitation. I've had contact. Every single time it's my time to get him, nobody responds to me. This is manipulation by the defendant.
I wish you had filed an opposition like you're supposed to. Then I would.
I did. I tried last time when I didn't see him for 30 days in the July, and you changed custody and gave it to my ex-husband. I tried, and I've tried to get reinforcement of order.
Proof that you've even attended the therapy that has been ordered. So look, this is
okay. So, Your Honor, if I may, please,
You haven't seen him in your visitation. I'm just trying to clarify.
Well, no. I would like to finish what I was going to tell you. I've been denied visitation. I haven't not had it, and the reason for it, and I have requested these records from HBI. There was a doctor on the phone. Christian on the phone. His dad picks up the phone, and his dad says, he's not going or seeing you. He's not going anywhere with you. Click. And I have not seen him since.
Okay, I understand. I understand your side of it. I understand your side of it now, ma'am. But like I said, you still had to file the opposition. You didn't, so that's a problem for me. As to the
Your Honor, I would really like to let you know that resources are very hard, and I get it. Yes, I have been a pro se. But during the pandemic, those resources were not available to me. Mr. Rizais.
That is not true. Because I got to tell you that people file things online in my court from day one of the pandemic until today. I have pro se litigants that file stuff every single day on their own. So that's not true.
Your Honor, like today, for instance, I literally was on hold for a half hour with self-help. And then it says there's a problem with the call, hangs up, call back later. Okay. This is what goes on. And I'm not going to make excuses, but when you're being evicted and your landlord is shutting off your internet access and everything else, there's not much you could do.
You've moved since then, is that right? You moved the day after that motion was filed. You filed a move that you moved, is that right?
It's the same person I've been staying with since I was evicted.
Ma'am, I guess I'm not understanding. You say you were evicted, and now you're still living with your boyfriend, and you guys are living on Churchfield, 6874 Churchfield.
No. That is not my boyfriend's address. You're taking his story and his narrative as fact.
Okay,
this is what started.
Whoa, listen to me. I don't care who you're living with. I care the fact that you say you were evicted and that you didn't have internet service. But since the date you filed this change of address, you have that at your new house. Is that right?
I do not have a new house. I'm staying. This is not my home. This is not my permanent address.
Who are you living with? Who are you living with?
Lisa Chanik, who has been a friend of mine for 16 years.
Okay, but Miss Chanik is not throwing you out. Miss Chanik has internet capability, right?
Okay, Miss Chanik was letting me stay.
Okay, I understand. I asked you 2 questions and you're avoiding my questions. Please answer my questions.
Yes, she has internet, and no, she would not. Yes.
Thank you. All right. So then there's no excuse for an opposition not filed, ma'am. Again, my concern is Mr. Rosai's made an allegation that you are possibly taking drugs, and I'm going to order you to have a drug test done today. Are we clear on that?
Okay, this is what I would like to say. First of all, because I'm still not getting a chance to reply to the things that he is saying.
Was to have filed an opposition, ma'am. That's what you were supposed to do.
Your Honor, I listen, literally, I'm working 2 jobs trying to just make it. The court has been taking more than they should be taking away from me, even during the pandemic when I was making $500 a month.
Okay,
the district attorney's office will not change it.
This is not the time for that. This is the time for us to resolve the 2 issues I'm concerned about. Number 1.
All right, so Your Honor, I would like to ask this. Since when does the court rely on hearsay? This is all hearsay. And it started from the beginning.
Miss Balle,
he has misled you, Your Honor.
The way for you to prove that it's not true is you're going to go take the drug test. And Mr. Balle is going to be ordered to pay for it, ma'am. And if you come back positive, then you have to reimburse him. But if you don't, if you come back negative, you certainly don't have to reimburse him, and you will have made your point. I'm giving you a chance.
Okay, I would like to know why this hearsay is being allowed to continue. I can say
it's an offer of proof, ma'am. They're making an allegation that you are using drugs, and the fact that your behavior starts being questioned when you haven't had your visitation. You're saying it's because you tried to get it and they didn't let you. So I'm going to see what the real reason is, ma'am. I am the trier of the fact of that.
Your Honor, my son.
Drug test, and you're going to take that drug test today, ma'am. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, before you're going to have any more, the visitation is going to be supervised and suspended until I have proof. Till you file the proof that you're going to therapy, ma'am, and that you're doing what you've been ordered to do at least twice. Okay?
Okay, so the new regulations for Human Behavior Institute are as follows. They won't just send them, so
Look,
if you want them, I need to know how you would like me to get them to you and the proper way to do it.
Okay.
I have to sign a release, request the documents, and then file them, I'm understanding, under camera, which I've never done that before, so I didn't even know that existed.
Okay. So how you will do that, ma'am, is because of COVID, I'm going to allow it to be a simpler way for you, in fact. You can submit them to my judicial executive assistant and say that these need to be filed in camera so that they're not public, that they're confidential, okay? So you're going to be able to email them to her directly. Her name is Lorena Martinez, okay? I'm just trying to make it for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Your Honor, though, I would like to respond to this because I filed a motion because the orders weren't being followed 2 years ago. I have filed these motions over and over.
We're not before you on a motion today on that, are we? We are right now. You've been before me many days since then. So
right, but my motions have never been heard. So I'm telling you right now that...
I have an evidentiary hearing scheduled for you guys the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th of August as it is. So I'll certainly hear everything you want to say and your chance to present all your evidence, ma'am, then. But the bottom line is I have a motion that is before me right now that I'm trying to address, and you want to go down this path of everything in the past, and I'm just...
No, I do not, Your Honor. I do not. What I'm saying is the things that have...
broke up. You muted your microphone, ma'am. Unmute it. You hit your phone and it muted it. Okay, there you are. There you are.
Have directly resulted in the defendant being able to do these kind of things and there be no consequences.
Well, ma'am, you had a remedy. Even to this motion, you had a remedy, ma'am, and you chose not to file the opposition. You say you have a lot of reasons and a lot of excuses, but this is the bottom line regarding it. You're going to need to file. I'm going to require you to file.
I just found out the 22nd of this month that there was even a hearing. He did not send me a copy of the motion or anything.
Again, you were advised, you just stated to the court yourself that when you went down there and you filed the change of address that they advised you of the motion. So you've already said that that's the case. So you knew about it. So look, this is the issue, Mom. This is what I need you to do. Let's be clear on what I need you to do so we're no confusion, okay? You're going to need...
I'm not confused on what you need me to do, Your Honor. I'm confused as to why hearsay and manipulation and misleading the court has kept being allowed to happen. He told you I was ordered to a PhD. That was never ordered. The children were.
Okay,
his side broke the order.
I've asked you to provide proof. We've gone down that road like twice already. I've already had...
The court record is the proof.
Provide proof. Look, now I've explained to you a way to provide proof, so I've given you the advice on how to provide proof, ma'am. But in the meantime, because you haven't seen your son, at least not had your visitation, you say you saw him through a friend a couple of times, perhaps, I don't know how many, when he was visiting his friend, that you were visiting the same friend, same town.
But I would like to say this. There is documentation that I'm trying to contact my son. There's documentation that he's preventing me from.
The best thing that would have happened is had you filed an opposition, I would have seen that proof, right, ma'am?
And, Your Honor, the reason that this campaign against me is going on is because it's the defendant who needs supervision. His girlfriend gave opiate painkillers to a child.
If you didn't bother to file an opposition, you could have been...
I did file it in my motion, and it's never been heard. This is going on 7 years of things that have happened that have not been heard.
Right, Miss Balle, I'm making an order. I need you to hear me. You need to hear me. Go take a drug test. I am
Fine.
Pending your visitation, pending you filing all the proof of the therapy.
Suspended. I haven't even had it.
Again, ma'am, I'm sending you to a drug test today. I am also suspending your visitation, pending your filing of proof that you're going to the therapy as previously ordered. I've explained to you, I told you the simplest way possible. I'm even making my judicial executive assistant have to assist you as to how to follow it to make sure it gets done in confidence, ma'am. Okay, so in Canada.
That's more than okay.
Okay, so we're tuned. You're going to go take the drug test, and then I'm going to set a status check return.
And, Your Honor, I would like to know what the ramifications are going to be when you do finally realize that Mr. Rizé has been misleading the court. These are all hearsay accusations, and your orders for visitation are based on hearsay.
Well, ma'am,
Mr. Ponzo's report is inadmissible.
Well,
Mr. Ponzo's Potter said it was inadmissible. He said it before you were around.
Miss Balle,
I would like to know what ramifications there will be.
We will talk about that come the evidentiary hearing, right? It'll determine on what I find. It depends on what the evidence presents.
Well, my ex-husband has been investigated by CPS for sexually assaulting a 12-year-old. Why is nothing being done? And I brought this up.
You can bring it up in your evidentiary hearing, but ma'am, I am here.
I did.
Again,
we've never had one because it's been continued for 7 years. Literally, over and over.
Last time. And guess who requested it continued last time? You did. And I granted it based on your request. Remember? Because you talked about the attorney, right?
I did.
Right. So,
and, Your Honor, I am not an attorney. I do not have the money for document preparation. So, in between jobs, I literally have to find the law, the proper way to address the law in my pleadings, and it's not easy.
I understand that. I understand that's the case. But let me tell you, in addition to that, Self-Help also has a trial preparation class that you're welcome to attend.
I took it.
Okay.
I took it.
Should certainly
3 years ago.
Okay. Well, maybe you need to take a refresher course. Maybe that will help, okay? But as for this, I've told you what you're going to file. I am suspending your visitation, pending your filing any proof of your attending your therapy and a return to the drug test. We're going to come back for those things. I'm going to give you a chance to file that, okay? and then we're going to see what your drug test says, and we're going to go from there. Mr. Rosé, we're going to send the drug test, Madam Clerk.
May 25th at 11 o'clock.
What date? I'm sorry.
May
Repeat
25th
it.
at 11 o'clock.
May 25th at 11 o'clock. Miss Balle, that's going to give you the time to file the documents that you need to do. You're going to go take a drug test. I'm going to sign it right now, and we're going to send it to you, email it to you. What's your email address that you want it sent to you, ma'am?
It's on record.
Let me make sure it's
SINNYLOUWHO@gmail.com.
Is that what you have, Madam Clerk? I'm just making sure that you get it, ma'am. Okay, I'm signing it right now. Until we come back, visitation is going to be suspended. In the meantime, you've got to get that filed, okay, ma'am?
All right, Your Honor, for the record, I would like to state this also so that when we do come back, you know this. I did not get, he kept him all during the pandemic, so I didn't get to see him then. Told you about that. You didn't do anything last time. I didn't see him for any of my holidays, Christmas, Easter. Now Mother's Day, I have to miss Mother's Day with him too. And I've seen my other children.
Had you filed the opposition, ma'am, I would have had all this evidence already. That's my problem.
Your Honor, I am sorry, but, during the pandemic and especially after, I'm financially strapped because this court's refusal to enforce their orders since 2014. I am strapped.
Well, part of the enforcing the orders is that you were supposed to attend this therapy, right? So now you're going to certainly do that.
And
we're going to go through all that, ma'am, but right now that's what I have before me. So I'm going to see you back here in May, and I'm signing the referral right now. I'm sending it back to my court clerk, and she will email it on to you.
Okay, and then also, Your Honor, for the permanent address, you have a case in front of you, and they just changed the date. So I'm waiting for the marital residence of my boyfriend to be exclusively given to him by you, but you changed the date. So that would be my permanent
case. I can't address another case. Now, I can't address another case in this hearing. You understand that? Right, they're not before me today. I can't address their case in your case. You understand?
If we could get some clarification
Right.
when she needs to take that drug test.
She has to go by the end of today, and then we're going to have to go right over by 5 o'clock today. You've got 3 hours to get there.
Okay, so that means I have to call into my other job.
You have to do whatever you're going to do, ma'am. You have to go get the drug test. You know it doesn't take very long. You just got to go in and get it done. My clerk, Madam Clerk, have you received it back from me, or you emailed it to her as we speak?
Yes, I'm emailing it right now, Your Honor.
Okay, she's emailing it to you right now, Miss Balle, so you can go over it.
Okay, and where is this exactly, and what is the fee? Because I don't have money.
First of all, I did already state that Mr. Balle's ordered to pay for it, ma'am. You don't have to pay anything. You've got to go in and take it. Mr. Rosé, your client has to go and make the deposit immediately in order for that to happen.
We'll do that right away. Can we also get the CC'd on the instructions, Judge?
You back, Madam Clerk, can you send Mr. Rosé forward it to him after you've sent it to Miss Balle? I want her to get it right away, Mr. Rosé, and we'll forward it back to you. I just want to make sure she gets it right away.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to see you back here on May 25th at 11 o'clock. And ma'am, I just, like I said, in the meantime, you're ordered to file the proof of your therapy with the court under camera, but you can just contact my JEA and she'll assist you to do that, okay?
Okay, and then also, there is pending motions that are going into civil court against this court. So how does that affect this case?
Well, you have to, I can't address it how it affects this until I see what's filed, ma'am. You're asking me to weigh in on something.
Negligence.
Okay.
And I have also turned in a request for your recusal based on bias.
I don't see any of that presented here, ma'am. I don't see anything submitted to my court.
I'm informing the court that will be filed. And Mr. Rosé has a complaint against him with the bar at this time because he is an authorized agent of a business that the defendant said he closed but put it in my son's name.
Ma'am, that isn't for me to address. Ma'am, you're missing my point.
Oh, yeah, it is, because this is all just ridiculous.
When you finally file something, because you couldn't file the opposition, ma'am, right?
It's all been filed since 2014 forward. The court has failed to act.
Again, ma'am, I said I don't have anything before me regarding that. I've ordered you to take the drug test. I'll see everybody back here on May 25th, and I'll address it.
Okay, and I am, Mr. Rizé, going to request that the defendant's girlfriend have a drug test because she gives painkillers to minors.
Again, ma'am, if you file all this in a replay in opposition, I would have certainly addressed it. But I can't because you didn't.
No.
So, ma'am, you're going to go take the drug test and we'll see what it is. You're
We
welcome
wouldn't be
to
in
file
this
whatever else-
position.
Ma'am, you're welcome to file whatever else you'd like with the court, but I don't
Okay, no.
for me. So please go
Okie
to the drug
dokie.
test immediately. I will see everybody back here on May 25th. You now understand how to contact my JEA, right, ma'am?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your appearances, Mr. Rizé. I'll see you back here on May 25th at 11 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good day.